women to go back, and I got to spend an hour with them. They are characters, to say the least. There was a young girl, Jessie from Channel 3. They would know Jessie Moore. Is that her name? Anyways, very cute young girl. Holy cow, these guys were in heaven with her. They would have liked you too, Jessie. Same name. Anyways, so these guys were great. The smiles on their face to go back to DC was just unbelievable, and I was glad to be a part of it. So Honor Flight, it's a great organization. The other organization I'm a part of is called the Nevada Military Support Alliance. A lot of the Gold Star families know them. That was founded, and they give direct money to the families that lose somebody. And in fact, next weekend there's a gala at the Red Rock Casino. And if you want information on that or would like to sponsor that, please let me know. It's a great organization. And I'm going to announce it. I don't think I'm supposed to, but I don't really care. So the Nevada Military Support Alliance is donating $250,000 to help start to build a Fisher House here up by the VA. That check's going to be presented next week at the gala, so if you'd like to be a part of that, please let me know. And I'm going to deny saying that. Fisher House. Does everyone know what Fisher House is? Let me explain what Fisher House is. I learned about Fisher House when I went to Walter Reed about 10 years ago. My family and I went. We brought a whole bunch of DVDs and movies to young men and women over there who are in there for weeks, if not months. And we got to see what a Fisher House is. So when you have someone wounded, the families get to stay at the Fisher House for free. And these are beautiful 10,000 square foot homes, big, huge family rooms, big, huge kitchens. Because, we met a young man from Iowa who lost both of his arms. His family could not afford to fly to DC and stay while their young, soldier was being treated. So it's an excellent, excellent organization. The Fisher brothers do a phenomenal job. Look them up, Fisher House. I think it's fisherhouse.org. So we are going to be building one. I don't know when it's going to be built, but we will have one here in Southern Nevada. Did you guys know that? No. You did? I thought I was the first to know. Oh, I thought I was special. I'm not. Senator Reed knows everything. Joe knows. You knew, Joe. Was it the paper? I don't subscribe to the RJ. So let me bring up, I'm going to bring up Joe, because he's on the thing, and I guess I'm supposed to call him on the program. You're on the program. Joe's awesome. I've known Joe for a long time. He had black hair. Well, he always had that little swirl thing, which is, it's his racing stripe. Very distinguished. I wish I looked like Joe. He's a good-looking guy. I'm not hitting on you, Joe, by the way. So anyways, Joe, I've known Joe since he was a state senator. He's also a colonel in the Army, correct? And he has served several tours. And his wife, Lisa, is she here? She couldn't make it today. She is an awesome military wife and also a, what do you call a first congresswoman's wife? Call her Lisa. I don't know the technical terms on that, but we'll just call her Lisa. She's awesome. They have a whole bunch of kids. Great. So she has done double duty. And Joe is great. We love Joe. And I'm going to call him Colonel Heck, not Congressman.
Thanks, Tim. Yeah, like you said, you never know how you're going to get introduced, but it's usually politically incorrect. It's more like a stand-up comedy routine with Phil. Look, it's both an honor and a humbling experience to be back here. And it's neat to look out into the crowd and see so many faces that have been here every year for the past 8 years. And I want to thank those of you who have been here throughout time. The Legion Riders that always show up and line the walls with American flags. The Blue Star moms, the Gold Star wives, of course the Gold Star families, and the members of our community who just come out, because that's what this is all about. It's about bringing together our community to recognize the selfless service and sacrifice of our men and women in uniform and their families. And certainly last but not least is this guy over here, who about a decade ago had a vision of putting some type of memorial out here to recognize the battle. And it's been a tough 10 years, 11 years, where we've been at war. And we've lost far too many across our nation, certainly far too many Nevada sons and daughters. And as was mentioned, the theme this year is remembering those who we lost at home. And yes, I remember 8 years ago, and henceforth, we always ended with, and we pray to God that we'll never have to add another name to the stone. And through God's grace, this year was the year. But yet we think about those who we have still lost. Assemblyman Duncan mentioned those that we lose in training incidents, like the unfortunate incident in Hawthorne. Those who we lose to suicide, which is increasing at just an unbelievable and unimaginable pace in our military. And we think about those who may come home in body, but don't quite make it home in mind because of PTS or mild traumatic brain injury. And that's who we're trying to recognize today. And I want to say thanks to all of the families, the Gold Star families that continue to show up. Not just to remember your fallen, but to participate in remembering all of the fallen. And I want to point out one person in particular, because this family, this woman, channeled their grief into something to be bigger and better and support others. And that's Sonny, who lost her son, Specialist Douglas Green, 2 years ago? Year and a half ago. And now who started the Douglas Green Memorial Foundation in his memory to help those through these troubling times. Tell you that no matter where you are on the political spectrum, the one thing that we always rally around, whether it's in Carson City or in Washington, D.C. with my colleagues, are our servicemen and women and our veterans. Because without them, we would certainly not have the ability to enjoy the liberties and freedoms that we have, that no other nation in this world is able to have. So I want to say first, may God continue to bless and keep safe our men and women in uniform, no matter where they may serve. May His loving arms protect and embrace our family members who sacrifice so much. May He continue to watch over our veterans and our survivors. And may His face continue to shine on the greatest nation in His earth, the United States of America. Thank you.
And thanks for those nice comments, but I want to make one correction to what Joe said. So the idea, just one. The idea behind this whole memorial came from a family who lost a young 19-year-old Marine back in 2004. And that was the Lukac family. Can you stand up, Helena? My brother Peter? So I met them, I want to say it was in 2005, and they wanted to build some type of memorial or something to remember their son by. And so they went and they were told about a park bench or a street sign or a name, a road named after them, and somehow I got in touch with the Lukac family, and I said, we have to be able to do something better than a bench somewhere, right? Is that how it went, Helena? I'm trying to remember. Wrong? You want to come up and tell us?
Yeah, I wanted something big.
She wanted something big. So we met with Senator John Ensign, who was here, by the way, Helena. Senator John Ensign was here. He rode his bike up here. He was here about an hour ago. And I told him he was not allowed to come up here because he was in his bike shorts. Again, so disturbing. Anyone remembers that from a couple years ago? It was just horrible. But anyway, so he was helpful in getting this location, which actually the memorial, if you remember, Helena, was right about here. Remember the walkway used to come right here, and it was overlooking here. I don't know if you guys remember that. So to correct Joe a little bit on that, it was the drive and determination to do something big, as Helena says it, to make this memorial happen. I just happened to, with the help of Senator Ensign and a couple other people, we arm wrestled a few people and got this thing done. But so to correct that, that's the family there that made this happen. I wrote a couple checks and made a couple phone calls, and that was it. But the Helena family. But no, we really appreciate Joe. He has just done a phenomenal job. And did you want to announce today, Joe, that you were going to run for president in 2016? Can we all sign a petition to get Joe to run president? Lisa agreed, I just texted her. No. Okay, so we have Lieutenant Colonel James Walker, who this is your second or third year? Third year, who's been here. Let's come up.
Good morning. I promise to be quick, fast, and brief. I think I've never been said about all the things that have been going on. I can say pretty much what everybody else said is ditto. But I want to reflect on some of the things. We've been in war for over 12 years. And there's a lot that's going on, so just read what I wrote here. So over the past 12 years, this nation has been at war. We have asked so much of our men and women to give up their times with their loved ones, put their lives on hold, in some cases to give the ultimate sacrifice of their life. All this is done out of love, love for our nation, love for our way of life, and our family and friends. Now that many are home, we have to deal with the emotional scars that not only the war can bring, but just being a member of the military can bring to us. Therefore, I want to talk about being resilient. Resiliency is the ability to spring back, rebound, and overcome adversity of all kinds. This capacity is hardwired in the human makeup. Year after year, you hear about floods, fires, tornadoes, and hurricanes that destroy communities. And we humans, we rebuild, we start over, and we continue to march forward. To all the service members, past and present, we thank you for your service. To all the family members, we thank you for your service. We ask so much of you time after time after time, but just for the service members, it's just another assignment. My family has gotten wise to me. They tell me whenever I cook a large pot of anything, they know I'm getting ready to leave. I never noticed it until my grandbaby asked me one day when I was cooking a large pot of chili, "Papa, where are you going?" Troops, if I ask you right now, how are you doing, what would you tell me? Correct? All right. So therefore, I ask the family of each of my soldiers, you must tell me if the person that left your house is not the same person that came back. We must be like the ever-present cockroach, resilient. No matter what happens, scientists state that even in a nuclear blast, they believe that the cockroach will survive. And that's how we have to be, resilient. I'll leave you with this. I tell my troops that other than combat, there is nothing so great in your life that you need to take someone else's life or your own. Remember, there are people around you that care for you and love you. We thank you for your service. You have earned your moment. Now sit back and enjoy it with friends and family all in. God bless America.
Your grandfather? It's not fair. You have a 12-year-old granddaughter? I don't like him. I want to bring up who's become a really good friend, actually, and we've shared a few cocktails together at some Marine Corps. A few. Can still outdrink me. He's a Marine, and I'm not. So Colonel Tom Check, Marine Corps retired. And I also want to mention, and he's very humble about this, and he doesn't talk about it much, but he is also the recipient of 4 Purple Hearts. And I've asked him about it. He doesn't really talk about it much, and he just kind of shakes his head and says, "I'm just doing my job." I mean, that's kind of when I talk to military guys and they get honored, they would go back and do it all over again, and they just say they're doing their job. So I'd like to bring up Colonel Check.
Phil, I had planned on being here today, but unfortunately I had another obligation. And by the way, with Congressman Heck's help, I'm running for president in 2016. Bill, I know you don't want to hear this, and it's already been alluded to several times today. I think the families that actually got this started, whether you like it or not. You keep this thing going. I don't know if you know this, he pays for everything himself. Everything is volunteerism on his part. That's to include some of the staff. And no matter how much he likes to downplay it, I personally am grateful for the fact that he makes that happen every year. And I know the families of those that we come here to respect every day are appreciative as well. I'd like to talk about two things today. And because I have been here before, you may have heard some of this before, but I'd like to talk about the memorial. And I'd like to talk about the meaning of the memorial. And I'm talking about the Red Rock Memorial. The second thing I want to talk about, I'd sort of like to reiterate what I said last year, but there was some confusion after the ceremony. I'd like to talk to you about heroes. I did this last year, and I don't know if I can make myself clear. However, I was quoted in the, I think one of the papers that comes to this particular ceremony. For those families that are here, and I have a different spin on how we do this, I like to refocus on the purpose why we're here. Accolades will go out to all the veterans, of course. The purpose of being here today is to honor those people, those service members that are inscribed on those rocks out there. There's 79 names, is that correct? And I will tell you, if I had my way, this memorial would not be here. And so we wouldn't have to come every year. But because it is here, we all owe them the greatest respect that you could possibly conjure up. For those families that are here, I'd like you to close your eyes for a second. And I'd like you to focus, because those 79 service members that are on those rocks are right here. I say this every year, and I get strange stares. They're here. They're standing next to you. They're right here. They're behind me, giving me the courage to tell you what I want to tell you today. Do you see them? Can you feel their presence? Believe me, they're here. 3 years ago, when Phil asked me to come here and be a speaker, I came out the night before, and over at the memorial, I said, I need to get some sort of inspiration. I said, what do I talk about? What do I tell these families that are here? And my focus has always been on talking to the families, although this entire audience certainly could merit what I say, or get merit what I say. When I was standing there and I'm looking at it and trying to get my Polish mind in gear, a couple kids came up. They probably were about 9, 10, or 11, one boy and one girl. And, you know, kids are kids, right? And their parents may have been in the back, but the young boy goes and said, these are just rocks. These are just rocks. And then the little girl said, why do they put names on rocks? And then the boy said, well, you know, they're heavy, they're not going to go anywhere, but about that time, I thought I could interject. You ever try talking to a 10, 11-year-old kid sometimes that are out in the middle of the desert? I was trying to be as eloquent as I could when I explained to them my thoughts on what this monument was about and why it's here. And that's what I'd kind of like to convey to you this morning. Unlike the mega monuments that you see in Washington, D.C. to memorialize some of our greatest people, like Thomas Jefferson, Washington, Lincoln, this particular memorial has a special significance. Number one, it's dedicated, as Phil said earlier, it's dedicated totally to the Nevadans that have lost their lives in Iraq and Afghanistan. That's extremely important. Have any of you here wondered why memorials are not made out of wood or plastic or synthetic products? Have you ever wondered why? The reason why they're made out of granite, the reason why they're made out of marble, and the reason why they're made out of stone is because they will allow the names of the people that are on those that we memorialize for you to remember, and all of us to remember forever. Think about it. Think about that. Red Rock Memorial are stones, and they have 79 names on those stones, and I guarantee you, especially for the families that are here today, it means just as much as any memorial in Washington, D.C. I guarantee you that. Second one I think I'll talk about here is heroes. It's a very sensitive subject for me personally. As Phil mentioned, I have been wounded in combat 4 times, and he didn't say it to make me look like a great veteran or anything like that, but hopefully it'll give me some sort of credibility to stand up here and talk about heroes. I think that the general public dilutes the terminology used when you're talking about heroes. I think many of you would probably agree with me. Last year I tried to convey, in my thoughts anyway, the various different levels of what I consider to be heroes. And you may not agree with me, but because I have been on the battlefield and I have been almost killed 4 times, I think I can say this with some sort of sincerity. Last year I told you that the first level of hero that most people think about, I'm only talking about the military here, I'm not talking about civilian heroism, I'm talking about military heroism. The first level that I indicated last year has to do with those that join the military. You know, to be a hero, you have to have courage. And courage comes in different levels as well. But as it was mentioned a little bit earlier, volunteerism, joining the military voluntarily, takes courage. Not everybody does it. But for those who do, are at times looked upon as heroes because they have the courage to join the military and serve their country, knowing that at some point or time they could be thrown into harm's way. The second level of hero are those that do in fact find themselves in harm's way. They do not necessarily do heroic things, although many do, but that level of heroism puts them in harm's way, makes them more vulnerable for being wounded or for being killed. And I can tell you, I don't know any of the 79 people that are on those rocks. Before they lost their lives, I will guarantee you they were not thinking about being a hero. That was not on their mind, ladies and gentlemen. Their thoughts were about the people that were around them and how they could stay together and keep each other alive. That's how it works. And the fact that I'm here and able to talk to you after being wounded 4 times, to me, I just don't understand it. I don't understand why I was chosen to stay alive. Maybe it's to stand here and tell you what I'm telling you this morning. The third level of heroism, undeniably, in my opinion, are those that sacrifice and give the ultimate gift of their life for their country. No one can dispute me on that. No one will ever dispute anybody on that, unless you're a communist. In parting, I would like to say that, yes, indeed, it is a privilege to be here. And I try to focus on the families, and I want the families to get the message that I try to convey. But as a parting note for the families that are here, take a look around you. We have people from every walk of life, so many veteran organizations that are here. They're here for you, to support you, and to support the loved ones that are on that monument out there on those rocks. Thank you very much, and God bless America.
He is always special when he comes here, I'll tell you that. Couple real quick announcements, and then I think we have a presentation. First off, is Vito and Linda? Is Linda here? Can you come down, Linda? So again, everyone seems to thank me for putting this on, but I really have to give 99% of the credit, stay here, to Vito and Linda. Okay, so I just wanted to thank you guys. So these guys are awesome. Now, I was just informed, am I allowed to say? Okay, it's too late now. So Vito is being transferred to San Diego. So we are not happy about that. But it's a good move for him and his family. So we're definitely going to miss Vito, and I know that the Gold Star families are going to miss Vito as well, because he is awesome.
Yes.
Beyond awesome. Yeah. You're welcome. And Linda, I can't thank Linda enough. I mean, I can't get rid of Linda. I don't want to get rid of Linda. I don't want to get rid of either of them. But Linda is always, I mean, she is just organizing this and staying in touch with the Gold Star families and the Blue Star. I mean, it's just, she has just done a phenomenal job. So I really want to thank Linda, because she is really very awesome. Oh, okay. So right now we're gonna do the Silver Star medal presentation. And so we'd like to bring appropriate people down for that.
Military personnel in uniform, please stand. Attention to orders. The United States of America, to all who shall see these presents greeting, this is to certify that the President of the United States of America, authorized by Act of Congress July 9, 1918, has awarded the Silver Star to Staff Sergeant Emmanuel L. Legaspi, United States Army, for gallantry in action in Iraq on 7 May 2006, given under my hand in the city of Washington, the 16th day of April 2013, John M. McHugh, Secretary of the Army. The President of the United States of America, authorized by Act of Congress 9 July 1918, has awarded the Silver Star to Staff Sergeant Emmanuel L. Legaspi, United States Army, for gallantry in action on 7 May 2006, against an armed enemy of the United States while serving as a section leader, headquarters and headquarters company, 2nd Battalion, 37th Armored Regiment in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom. Staff Sergeant Legaspi unhesitatingly led from the front and volunteered for the most dangerous duties, despite having numerous reasons and opportunities to seek a safer position. He gave the last full measure of devotion for his fellow soldiers and his country. Staff Sergeant Legaspi's actions are in keeping with the finest traditions of military service and reflect great credit upon himself, the Ready First Combat Team, 1st Armored Division, 101st Airborne Division Air Assault, and the United States Army.
That was special. This is concluded. There's a couple announcements I'd like to make, and then if anyone would like to come up and say anything. So we have 2 5K races coming up in honor of 2 very special people. The first one is May 18th, and it is a 5K in Summerlin for the Douglas J. Green Foundation. And as everyone knows, last year, I've always told the story. I've heard great things about all these boys on the Rock, and I've never met them. Doug is one that I did get to meet. I had the honor of meeting several times, and what a special kid he was. And I know all these boys were special, but Doug was really special because I got to meet him, and I've known his family for a long time. So they're having a race on May 18th. There's a 5K run and a 1K walk, and all the funds benefit the Douglas J. Green Foundation, and I've seen their work. They do great work. On May 25th, they're having a run for the Lukac family, and we have some information on that, I think someone said. And that is at the Buffalo YMCA on May 25th. So if you want information about that, you can probably just Google it, right? It'll show up. You know? Okay. Do you know what? Okay, perfect. Oh, the information is there. Okay. We'll get that out. So please come out. If anything, You'll get in shape by the end of May with 2 5Ks. Great. So this is at Centennial Hills Park at the YMCA on North Buffalo. And with both races, you get a t-shirt and a goodie bag, which is great. And 100% of the proceeds will benefit the VFW Post 12093, the Wounded Warrior Project, and Horses Healing Heroes. Okay? So please, everyone come out and do it. I don't care if you can run or not. I am not a runner. But I will be out there for both of those. So in closing, does anyone else want to make any comments? Any family members? I'm getting a thumbs up over here.
Oh, good morning. What a great morning this is, huh? My name is Richard Perez. My son's Richard Perez Jr., I think you know. I was sitting here thinking, you look at this rock, for example, all these veterans up here can probably relate to this. I wasn't in the military. But, boy, can you imagine if one of these men say, hey, we got to take that rock. And there's guys pitted in that rock, and you got to find those guys. You all know what that is. It's daunting. It's a daunting thought. I just thought about that. It's just amazing that these guys are trained to do that. So, my hat's off to you. All right. Just a few quick words. 2005 it was Richard. And some 417 years ago, Sir Francis Drake, the great explorer, passed away aboard his ship off the coast of Panama. In his lifetime, his great frontiers were the oceans, and it was said he lived by the sea, died on it, and was buried on it. Well, today, we can say that just like Drake, our children showed the same dedication and commitment in each of their missions in recent wars. In my years since 2005, when Richard Perez Jr. passed away in Iraq, I soon realized he was part of a great team. Not only Marines, Army, Air Force, Coast Guard, Navy, National Guardsmen, and women. Proudly, I've met many great men and women who have served in my travels. I came to realize how great our people are and our children are in our country. One particular I want to tell you about just recently. I met an Army paratrooper. You see, this paratrooper was third out of a plane in North Korea during the height of the Korean conflict. It was 2 a.m. as he jumped along with his teammates. He saw a travesty right in front of his eyes. First jumper was the captain. Below the paratrooper's eyes, he saw the captain get riveted with bullets and passed away in the North Korean soil. Second was the leader, who also met with the same fate on that morning, and just below the feet of this paratrooper. Before he realized that he was next in line for the shots, first it was in the leg, the hip, the back, the neck, and lastly in the right forearm. Shots came from all angles in the morning air, from sights unseen as he floated down to the North Korean landscape. This man was captured by the North Koreans and became a prisoner of war for a year. He was caged along with others, fed rice and fish parts, dug out each bullet in his skin over that time, except for the forearm and back, which North Koreans threw dirt on him to stop the bleeding. 1 year later, the war had ended and the prisoners were released, the bullet in the back finally taken out, becoming a distant memory collected, and the bullet in the arm still remaining today. See, I met Army E7 Dixon. I don't know if he's here today. He promised me he was going to come, but I don't see him here. So his life had been saved. And through all the bullets and pain, he manages today to have a big grin and proudly dons his Korean hat. You see, soldiers, they all have true tales and stories to tell, and these men behind us. And we're blessed to have men and women like Dixon who live and tell us the story of our country's rich history. And I'm sure my son would have done the same. To the thousands that have passed away, and to the millions who have served with us here today, or at home safe in some USA city, we thank you for all your contribution and warrior mentality to protect our homeland. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like Nothing more, if you can give a round of applause to all these veterans that are here today. Thank you. You know, a lot has changed, Phil. I haven't been here in 4 years. I don't know if any of you know this. I don't know if you remember my little daughter that was here holding the picture of my son about 4 years ago. Yeah, she is now a superstar gymnast at Arizona State. So we've been busy with that. Every time, this time of year was the Nationals, and so Risa Perez is at Arizona State, and she's going into her sophomore year. But we are now a grandparent 4 times, and since then I have earned my master's degree and working on a doctorate. And all this really because of my son. So I just want to say thank you, everybody. And my son is part of all of you, and I'm so proud to have met all of you who I've met. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Janet Snyder, and I'm representing 2 military widows organizations, Gold Star Wives of America and the Society of Military Widows. We are part of the Gold Star families, but we are not Gold Star mothers. A lot of people get these things confused, and we are always called Gold Star mothers, but we are not. We are Gold Star wives. It's our husbands who served in the United States military. They passed away either on active duty, killed in wars, or later due to service-connected disabilities, or later just passing away of natural causes. We are still all Gold Star wives. We are still military widows. And we have the service and sacrifice also because we were the ones who stayed behind. We were the ones who had to take care of our families. And we are the survivors. And it is wonderful that we have this opportunity to thank survivors also. And I thank you very much for your support.
Hey, hello. Well, I just want to make a tribute to my husband, James Choice, his father. He was in the Army. He served 2 tours in Iraq and then also was in the reserves. He did pass away due to PTSD. He struggled, you know, through life. But I just want him to know that he is our hero and he'll never be forgotten. And thank you guys for putting on this program for us.
First time for stuff to fall. My name's Frank Spady. I spent 18 months in Vietnam, 1965 through 66. I was a airborne ranger. I feel sorry for all the mothers, fathers. I really, first off, I want to thank you, Phil, for what you do. And I want to, the Colonel, when he stood up here and acknowledged how tough it is for when they were being heroes, I acknowledge it is tough when you're in war and you're in battle. And myself personally, you don't wake up in the morning you don't sleep at night, number one. I never did. And you don't think about you're going to earn medals. You don't think about that. Myself personally, I think I got 20, 25. I don't know what you don't think about them. But I want you to know your brothers, your sons, you talk to them and they laugh. We laugh in the foxholes. We tell each other lies. We're tough. We're tough guys in the foxhole. And what I'm really up here for also is I want to rebuttal a statement that I heard about 5 months ago. It just upset me so much. And I want Senator Reed's office, and I want, who else is up back there? The whole administration. And I want you to take it back, and I want you to tell them that, who is that lady that said it? Clinton. What difference does it make? Yeah, that was the statement. What difference does it make? Well, I'll tell you what, in Benghazi, wasn't the statement that she made, well, what difference does it make? It was only 4 of them. I'll tell you what, it makes a lot of difference. There were 4 people that were killed, that were defending our country. Can you imagine what they were going through, just like your sons were going through? At that time, just like when they told us to get on the boat to go to Vietnam, I didn't stand up and say, I don't want to go. I don't want to go to Vietnam. You know what? I put on my backpack, and, well, not a backpack, it was loaded with so much shit, I couldn't believe it. I had to put it on, I had to jump on the boat. I had to go. If I would have said, no, I don't want to go, you know what the government would have done? They would have pulled tied to us pole and shot us. I had to go. So we went. And we defended this country. And I'll tell you what, just like these Gold Star moms and families, they defended it for us. And so when I heard that statement, 4 or 5, what difference does it make? I'll tell you, it makes a lot of difference. And I'm proud of those people that defended this country. And I'm proud of these mothers and these sisters. And so you go back to the senators and the congressmen that, you know what, they wanted to be here. Yeah, they wanted to be here, sure. They all want to be here. But I tell you what, your sons, they were in those foxholes, and they were there, and they were defending this country. And I'm proud of them. And all I got to say is, God bless America, and God bless your son.
Would anyone else like to speak? I'm not sure if anyone wants to follow Frank. I love Frank, by the way. He's, I wish he'd be a little bit more honest next time when he speaks. I love him for that, I'll tell you that.
Good morning. My first time speaking. I'm coming up here in honor of my husband, Ezra Dawson, who passed away as a hero not only to you guys, but to me. He was a hero here, and he's still a hero when he's not here. I mean, Ezra, he was a comedian, he was about his family, and he was about his country. You couldn't tell him nothing about his country. You tell him something about his country, he'd be, no, that's not it, and he'll let you know. But I just came up here to let you guys know I know how we feel, and I still grieve to this day. Even though it happened January 17, 2009, I still grieve. I have my mother by my side, and I thank her to this day. So I just want you guys to be happy, and I'm going to continue to be happy. Thank you.
Okay, well, again, I really appreciate everyone coming and just hearing everyone speak, and it just makes it special to me, and it's just awesome. I don't even know, I'm kind of speechless right now, which is good. So anyways, thank you everyone for coming again. I know it was a little bit warm today. We were blessed with a little bit of a breeze, and I do want to thank all the speakers that came out and sat here patiently, and we're going to miss some of you guys. We're going to miss Jesse, and we're going to miss, who else are we going to miss? Oh, well, of course, I already said we're gonna terribly miss Vito and Linda. We'll get Vito back, actually. Looking forward to San Diego and the beach. 60-degree weather. That'll get old really quick. We'll get Vito back to this beautiful one. So thanks to all the speakers. Good luck to you, Adam. We'll be thinking about it on the 4th of July. Right? Number 2, is it a boy or girl? 2 boys then? God bless you. If you have a daughter, it's a nightmare. I have a nightmare. I have a daughter. I worry about her all the time. Especially on Facebook. I see these pictures. Yeah. So thank you all for coming. And I know we have, followed by this, we have over at the Red Rock Casino a lunch for the family. So we'll see everyone over there. And then if everyone could pick up your Lifesaver cushion. And there's some boxes back there, if you guys can bring them up, that would be great. Again, we appreciate everybody. Thank you very much.